I just fight real fighters.
The truth is, these sports-washing, shady characters are paying you hundreds of millions of dollars to stop our fight from happening, and you're screwing over all your Mexican.
Canelo Alvarez just went off on Jake Paul during his Instagram Live, completely shutting down any talk of a fight between them.
He wants to fight Canelo. I'm just saying what he. That's what he.
I hear you. Then why is he not fighting Canelo? I mean, it'd be a fucking 30-second payday.
As expected, Jake is already spiraling, but let's be real, this was never going to happen. In his usual delusional fashion, Jake hyped up a fight that Canelo never even considered, because why would he?
Reporting of the information May 3rd coming out yesterday, I don't think was coincidence in the sense that perhaps there was a little litmus test.
Canelo is busy defending world titles against legitimate contenders, not entertaining a YouTuber turned boxer who treats the sport like a side hustle. I was with Canelo when his video went viral.
It was all but done, right? How did it go from all but done to a change of heart? No, putting it out there to maybe try to get to see, how the public would react.
And the world quickly realized Jake had once again manufactured a fake news headline barely a month into the new year. The hype around this supposed fight was massive, like a Hollywood blockbuster. Except it never even made it past the trailer. Jake thrives on attention, and this was just another desperate attempt to stay relevant in the boxing world.
Canelo, Jake Paul's made a lot of noise, especially last week. Do you take any notice of him?
Who?
Jake Paul. Do you take any notice of him? He said
that team.
But Canelo made it clear he's not wasting his time on someone who hasn't earned the right to share the ring with him. Once again, Jake Paul's fantasy fight crumbled, and this time it was Canelo himself who delivered the knockout blow.
Is not done until it is absolute.
I'm thinking about is why you guys asking me for that especially fight. Jake Paul, please guys.
Jake Paul versus Canelo Alvarez was supposedly set for May 3rd.
In 2 years we can talk, but
because I think some people would love you for knocking him out. I think that's
maybe.
2025 at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, a date so perfectly chosen that even the universe had to roll its eyes. Cinco de Mayo weekend is one of the most sacred traditions in boxing, a time reserved for the biggest names, the fiercest champions, and the legends who have earned the right to headline.
This tweet from Turkey Al-Sheikh himself, he says, "Don't mess with the lion. 4 fights for Canelo with Riyadh season. The deal is done. A lion doesn't lose sleep over the opinion of a sheep. Fear the lion."
But somehow, in his never-ending quest for clout, Jake Paul convinced himself he was about to step into greatness. The only problem? Canelo never even RSVP'd. Jake Paul has built his career on hype, and this was no different. He crafted a storyline that made it sound like he was next in line to fight Canelo, setting up the idea that the reigning super middleweight champion would lower himself to take on a YouTuber with a few wins against washed-up fighters.
This you have Terrence Crawford. I'm waiting on Canelo in September and going to shock the world in Riyadh season. So that tweet comes out, and immediately the thought is, holy shit, what the just happened? Because the previous offer was 3 fights for Canelo that apparently was done for, that he was washing away and rethinking because Turkey was going to look to do other things because Canelo was supposedly going to fight Jake. Now
it was the ultimate fantasy fight, one that never even made it past the rumor stage. Canelo, who has spent years proving himself against the best in the world, didn't even acknowledge Jake's antics at first. Why would he?
Don't pay attention in anything. In this fucking YouTuber, I just fight real fighters. Don't f***ing around.
He's been in the ring with warriors like Gennady Golovkin, Dmitry Bivol, and Caleb Plant. He's unified divisions, held multiple world titles, and cemented his legacy as one of the best pound-for-pound fighters of this generation.
Expose him. So we had a signed contract to fight. Here you can see Canelo's signature and my signature to the right, claiming he's not fighting YouTubers. February 11th, claiming he fights real fighters, but he's fighting Crawford, a 135-pound fighter, and running from a real fighter like David Ben.
Meanwhile, Jake has fought influencers, retired MMA fighters, and an aging Nate Diaz. The gap in experience, skill, and legitimacy is laughable. But as Jake's imaginary fight started gaining traction, Canelo finally decided to shut it down himself. He he took to Instagram Live and completely obliterated any notion of this fight happening.
Money-hungry squirrel chasing your next nut. The truth is these sports-washing shady characters are paying you hundreds of millions of dollars to stop our fight from happening because they couldn't fathom the fact that they can't create a bigger...
His message was clear. He's here to fight real contenders, not YouTube stars looking for a quick payday and a viral moment. And just like that, the fantasy fight that Jake had hyped up like a Hollywood blockbuster was exposed for what it really was, pure fiction.
Like Tyson and
To try to get some credibility back.
When he fought somebody that was actually his age and was actually a boxer and was actually his size,
Potential showdown in May, Cinco de Mayo weekend. At the same time as all of this, there is great interest from Turki Al-Sheikh and Riyadh season to put on a Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford fight. So these two conversations are happening somewhat.
The truth is, Jake Paul thrives on attention, and this was yet another desperate attempt to insert himself into boxing's biggest moments. Cinco de Mayo weekend belongs to fighters who have put in the work, not someone who's treating the sport like a side hustle. While Jake was busy trying to manifest a fight that was never going to happen, Canelo was focused on real challenges, ones that actually matter in the boxing world. And so, as quickly as the Jake Paul versus Canelo fight happened, it was over. No contracts, no negotiations, no real discussions, just another case of Jake Paul fabricating a storyline to stay in the headlines.
two-faced, lying, fucking nut job, you know? And yeah, me and Oscar are never gonna be.
As far as MVP is concerned, they didn't really care about the Terence Crawford fight. One fight's happening in May, one fight is scheduled to happen in September. I did get the impression, and this came to light last night, that let's just say the Riyadh season side of things weren't too keen on the guy who they're about to pay a ton of money.
Canelo shut it down, the fans laughed it off, and the world moved on. Jake may have fooled some people into believing this fight was real, but at the end of the day, Cinco de Mayo weekend is for legends, not influencers playing dress-up in the boxing world.